A helicopter carrying Iran's president and its foreign minister crashed in the northwest of the country in thick fog.
We are almost halfway into 2024 and predictions have already started pouring in for the coming year. Let's just say it is not looking good.
We get threatening phone calls. There are people following our trucks. They're terrorizing us.
According to experts, the year 2025 will bring a lot of changes that will shock the entire world.
Do you want to destroy humans?
I will destroy humans.
No, don't destroy humans.
From countries pushing towards war to AI, pushing towards a scary uprise, the next year might have a lot that will take the audience by surprise. This stuff is going to be terrifying if it comes true. So let's see what the experts are saying about the year 2025. The start of World War III. World War III has always been on the books, and the chapter is opened every time there is growing tension between two countries. But this time, it appears inevitable to futurists. Israel and Palestine's conflict has been going on for months. It has forced many people around the world to react furiously, but it was nothing like the response from Iran. There have always been tensions between Iran and Israel. Plus, the West's lifelong belief about Iran building a secret nuclear program has never gone away. With Israel's attack on Iran's embassy in Damascus, the retaliation was an unparalleled airstrike by Israel. It was only under the pressure of Germany, the UK, and the US that Israel did not react. Plus, with the Iranian president dying in a helicopter crash recently, it seems like a planned attack. The interesting thing is that Nostradamus, a famous seer of the 16th century, predicted that World War III would start from Asia and by Iran's attack on Israel. That's not all. A Russian missile recently violated the NATO airspace, and it did not get a pressurizing response from the world. Aside from invading Ukraine aggressively, there are high chance that Putin might attack the Baltics if the opposition does not instill enough pressure, which could lead to high tensions between the NATO countries and Russia. And let's not forget about China. There has been trouble over Taiwan's sovereignty between the US and China. Although there is no imminent strategy evolved by the countries that put up the war front, there have been aggressive stances made by China in some matters. Experts believe that the countries are one bad decision away from raging a war. With all the growing tensions between the superpowers, it seems very likely that the world is on the brink of World War III. It is only a matter of a few red lines being crossed, and many of them, it seems, already have been met. The US dollar might get dethroned. Did you know that the position of the US dollar is threatened? Experts seem to think it might even be knocked out by other currencies. The US dollar is a big weapon for the US, giving the country the crown of being a massive superpower. It works as a global reserve currency and has been in that position for more than 6 decades. But recently, there have been a lot of changes in the international trade system. Many countries have discarded the dollar in their international trading, and China is at the top of that list. Oil trade is already being exchanged in other currencies by China and even India. That's not all. Sri Lanka and UAE are even exploring the options of doing other trades in rupees. This has brought many countries to use their currencies during trade, and the shift is gaining momentum. Could it ultimately lead to the US dollar getting dethroned? The next year might give us hints. You will be able to talk with dead people. Did you know you could talk to the dead? The prototypes are ready, and they do not look like something that should be released to the world. Hereafter AI is a startup that has developed a scary technology. Now this tech is still in the works, but the idea is that you can talk to your deceased loved ones. If you have watched Black Mirror, you know that it does not end well, but that's not the case for the users who have tried the prototype. One subject talked to his deceased parents for 4 hours and forgot halfway that he was talking to AI. Another family was seen talking to their grandma, and you would never figure out if she was indeed deceased. The concept of deep fakes combined with fake avatars of the dead is slowly gaining momentum. It is quite frightening to see if technology eventually becomes a norm in houses, because the technology is uttering words that your loved ones might have never spoken. And who is to say people would stop there? Wouldn't you want to turn a simple avatar into a physical form of your deceased loved one? Where would it stop? Billionaires might take over the world. Billionaires obviously have a lot of money, but have you ever wondered what would happen if that stash goes into the wrong investment? The idea is that billionaires hold a lot of authority and they can take actions without much influence or pressure from the outside world. An investment that they potentially like could scale up to tenfold with their money. Experts believe that the world is one bad decision away from a billionaire taking charge of a wrong strategy or startup that could lead to a war among the countries. Because if it does go that way, who is to stop the unregulated actions of these powerful billionaires? The answer is nobody. What's scary is that it is inevitable, but the year 2025 could lead to a triggering event. Brain chips implants to rise soon. The Neuralink is one of the most shocking innovations to have been shown this year. The technology is expected to be taking volunteers next year, and well, it does not look like it is going to turn out well. The initial plan of Neuralink was to help disabled people move towards a better life, where they could follow through with a function using only their thoughts. But there are also plans for its expansion, since trials are expected to be called for volunteers to surgically get a brain chip implant next year. Now, there are not a lot of people volunteering right now, but that could change when the actual surgeries are done and the process starts gaining attraction. The main issue is that there is a lot that could go wrong if it becomes a norm to get a brain chip. There is a lot of debate on how information could be stored before to alter the way the human brain thinks. Plus, it could be used to access information and then blackmail people for their thoughts alone. A large majority believe that someone could use it to change the thoughts of the human mind after the implant is done, where people could be controlled like robots. And there is always the chance of the computer chip malfunctioning. What happens then? How does a malfunctioned brain chip affect the human mind and behavior? It may seem like fiction, but half of it is already true. Who is to say the downsides of the technology won't become real too? There will be an internet apocalypse. Do you have any idea how much the internet has infiltrated our lives? What if it stops working? That's what the experts are suggesting will happen in the upcoming year. Scientists in NASA have predicted the largest solar flare to hit the Earth in the year 2025. It will disrupt the magnetic field of the Earth, and the world has no idea how it would affect our lives. But one news that is being spread like wildfire is that the internet will stop working. The last time a horrible solar storm hit the world, there was a shutdown of all telegraphic systems and a massive number of fire breakouts in various parts of the world. The next year, scientists are predicting it will be the worst geomagnetic storm in 165 years. If that is the case, then the internet is likely to be shut down too. And that's not just people disconnecting from their loved ones, but companies and countries disconnected from each other. Corporations would lose $500 million in one day, and all the logistical operations would stop. Not only that, but you can't expect to make transactions, and that means stores are not getting any new products. Depending on how long the apocalypse runs, a shortage of necessary items becomes a problem. It is wider and more massive than you think, and AI is expected to only predict if the solar storm is going to happen or not half an hour before. That's a pretty short time frame, to be honest. Eco-terrorism might gain popularity. There is a new terrorist group on the block, and it is the eco-terrorists. But what's horrifying is what it could lead to in the upcoming year. Global warming has been a threat for decades, but recent times have started putting those empty warnings into an obvious state of reality. And if that wasn't frightening enough, the experts have started warning about eco-terrorism. In the past, terrorist groups disguised themselves as pro-activists only to cause chaos in the region. These groups become active when a region is hit by a flood or a drought. They provide aid in return for getting new members. But that's not all that they are expected to do in the coming years. People believe that they could create unwanted riots and violent clashes against the opposition, leading to a warlike situation. With the rising effects of climate change, the opposing groups could lead the countries towards a civil war. To counter it, it is very likely that the actual leaders who have been peaceful all this time could get caught and arrested, leading to an even bigger outrage from the crowd. Who knows how many countries might be affected by this, but it seems like an inevitable challenge for the governments. Mixed reality will take over. While augmented and mixed reality is becoming popular each passing day, experts have predicted shockingly frightening outcomes. Many VR experiences are slowly gaining fame as gadgets like the Apple Vision Pro Max and Oculus are developing. Aero Banquets is one such technology that allows you to get into an artificial environment while you taste different kinds of foods. Nobody knows what they are eating, but it is supposed to give them a unique experience in life. Similarly, there are expected to be such experiences blooming in the coming years that transports humans into a synthetic reality. But that's not what's scary. The terrifying part is that the fiction will be so addictive that you will forget about reality. People could feel quite disconnected from the world if they start using VR too much, and that is all predicted to happen soon. It is not clear whether the outcomes would worsen in the next year, but the rate at which technology is expanding, it is easy to see this happening in the year 2025. DNA mapping might begin. Would you like to know what genes you are carrying from birth? Do you think it could lead to scary outcomes? Scientists are predicting that they will bring DNA mapping at birth to every baby by the year 2025. This means that you will know all about your responsiveness to a drug and even the risk of developing a potential disease. But this is where it gets scary. While gene mapping is being done to prevent diseases, people are likely to try it out and see if their babies would have preferable features. Plus, gene editing is already being done at a smaller level. Experts believe that gene mapping could lead to undesirable gene editing at a bigger level. Although it is unethical right now, who knows how morals change in the future? Plus, gene mapping would mean giving your DNA and your ancestral data to a private company. If there is a chance of hacking, all of your ancestral DNA would be at risk. It would be interesting to see how it all turns out, but the futurists do not have the best news about this technology. Economic collapse will begin. The United States is expected to go through a huge economic collapse. Do you think your money will be safe? The interest rates have been the highest in the country than they have been in the last 20 years. This has caused many banks to fail. Up to 524 banks have failed since the year 2008. This means that borrowing is expensive, and that is a problem for normal consumers. But that's not all that's causing the world to be scared about the next year. The idea is that many countries have not recovered since the pandemic. You can already see the developing countries are being affected by inflation. Experts believe that the stock market is expected to crash by 30% by the end of this year. But wait, there's more. The AI technology deployment is only expected to increase in the upcoming years. That means there is a very good chance that the unemployment rate would surge much higher than expected. It has already taken away many people's careers. With all of these stimuli combined together, there is a very high chance that we could see the economy take a massive nosedive in the next year. Civilization might start moving to Mars. Would you prefer your next home to be on Mars? This group of people are definitely thinking about it, and many believe it is not the best idea. Elon Musk is widely known to be obsessed with sending civilizations to Mars, but he is not the only billionaire working on those efforts. Jeff Bezos has also opened up Blue Origin in the hopes of sending people to space. The idea is to make space travel as easy as a plane ride, but that means polluting Mars, just like humans have polluted Earth. Humans are not expected to inhabit Mars by next year, but people do believe that the first of the few space travel missions with this goal will occur in the next year. People will be lining up to take a trip to Mars and then come back home to boast about it. But that's what's scary. The rocket launch needs to be perfected if hundreds of people are going for a random space trip. The dangers are inevitable. In the last year, a SpaceX spaceship exploded before even going to Mars. Even if the rocket launch is perfected after many experiments, nobody knows how it would affect our civilization if humans start colonizing a different planet. Would we become an interplanetary species anytime soon? Let us know your thoughts. Mind control through music. Mind control is very much possible, but did you know it could also be done through music? Research is already being pursued in different fields to control minds using music. However, there is a group who have already spotted the downside of this research. Experts have started reporting how cults are using it to their benefit. While satanic music and related cults are already known for doing crazy things and controlling the crowds in a concert, there is an even more drastic side effect to the music's mind control. People highly believe that it will gain fame in the next year, and that mind control would not only be done by the cults, but by the government too. Music is already known to cause hormonal changes and shifts in moods and behaviors. If this remains unregulated, then it is frightening to think about how far some people in power might take it. Plus, there are already many videos uploaded on YouTube. Some people have reported how they have experienced heaviness and shifts in their lives after listening to some music. There is no particular way on the internet, in concerts, or even in large gatherings to detect whether the music will be used to control the mind. Plus, there is no regulation on such platforms to see who can upload such music. If it is an unfiltered trend that is expected to rise in the next year, it is terrifying to see how it could affect people or large groups. Do you think there is a way to detect the culprit or the crime before it happens? Rise of the robots. Could the year 2025 lead to robots taking over the world? A robot uprising has always been considered a fiction trope, but it seems like it could be a reality. The recent boom in AI and the development of multiple humanoid robots has forced people to think a robot uprising is not far. In the next year, experts believe that there will be a massive rise in mass automation. A lot of jobs will be taken over by robots, leading to higher unemployment rates. There are already many restaurants using robots as waiters. Amazon is using about 700,000 robots to do repetitive tasks. But a scarier thing than that is, what if the robots go against humanity? Although there are not many robots today, there are many examples on the internet about how robots malfunction. One humanoid robot, Sophia, even told an interviewer that she would destroy humans. Even though she said it as a joke, it does tell a chilling story about the future, and it was not well received on the internet. Another robot even went as far as to seriously injure a Tesla engineer during work, and that was no joke. In the past years, an automated car killed a female who was jaywalking on the road. Now, you may say the problem is the regulations, but if there is mass automation, how would they ever be regulated? And more importantly, if a single robot can go against humans, who is to say a fleet of robots won't attack a human army? Self-driving cars to hit the roads. By the next year, self-driving cars are expected to hit the roads. But do you think it is safe? A complete self-driving car would need no input from the human. It will drive on its own and take you to places without your help. That has got many futurists worried whether it would be safer on the streets. There is always the chance that a car could be hacked for a potential crime. Would crimes become easier this way? There is an upside to this, though. Self-driving cars could really help cut down on traffic accidents, so that is something to look forward to. Cannibalism among humans. With the famine expected to come soon, would that give rise to cannibalism? Famine has been on the rise since last year. The World Health Organization claimed that over 300 million people had a hard time getting food in the year 2023. That number has not decreased in this year, and it is not expected to lower down in the next year either. What's troubling is the fact that futurists have predicted that there might be a rise in cannibalism due to food scarcity, and climate change might contribute more to that. With the wars brewing and tensions rising, there is a high chance that there might be trouble in finding food by next year. Cannibalism may become a rising problem, especially in the poor parts of the world. That's all on the most terrifying predictions of the year 2025. It is bad news piling over bad news, isn't it? Good thing that they are all just predictions. But what if they come true? Which one of these scares you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know if missed out on something important. If you enjoyed the video, show us some love by pressing the like button. While you are at it, do subscribe to our channel. We will be uploading more interesting videos soon. Until the next upload, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.